Hello everyone, welcome to the all-new sports show presented by Roger G. Taylor & Associates. I'm Edward Green. My colleague Wes Bradshaw will be joining me here momentarily. We have a big show for you today. First week of high school football action is in the books. We are going to have every score from every game right here, right now. We'll of course be going more in depth of our game of the week, which was Nash Central versus Tarboro. We'll be talking to our friends from the Rocky Mount Telegram and the Wilson Times to get caught up on what else is going on in our area. Of course, we'll also be debuting two features this week, Bishop's Corner and our Todd Gurley update. All that, 60 seconds of soccer, and much more await on this edition of the All New Sports Show. Let's go!
Dogs coming on a blitz, a nice pickup. Green gets rid of it and caught on the deflection. Put 6 on the board, Knight fans. That is a touchdown.
And it is caught by number 20, Malik Williams, and he breaks free. He's going. One man to beat. It's a touchdown.
Hey.
Hi, everybody. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 4, season 3 of the All New Sports Show. Obviously known as the season of serious.
Yeah, very serious.
As I open with a Harry Carey impersonation.
Why wouldn't you?
Folks, I'm Wes Bradshaw. This is Ed Green as he introduced himself just moments ago to you. Folks, week 1 of the high school football season is in the book.
Nice.
But first about that Palomino. Okay, back to action.
God, we're putting that on everything now.
Yeah, that's just becoming a big thing. Folks, big show coming up for you tonight. We're going to recap our high school football game of the week, Tarboro and Nash Central. We have interviews with a player. We have coach interviews. We have phone interviews with guys who work for reputable newspapers.
Yes, we've talked to in the past.
Exactly, who maybe are not as suboptimal quite as we are, but they're cool anyway. 60 seconds of soccer. Bishop's Corner coming back to you tonight, folks. We're going to talk with Coach Jeff Vilkovsky, I believe a week ahead, maybe 2 weeks ahead of Wesleyan kicking off their season. We're getting really excited with that. Might be doing a little something with Wesleyan this year. We'll keep you folks informed, of course. Nice. We have the debut tonight of the Crystal Clear Pepsi 6-pack. Only the finest sponsorship for us. Crystal Clear Pepsi, folks. America's drink of choice for about 2 months in 1993.
They're about as good as your picks this week.
There you go. That's where they belong, is in 1993. Yep. And folks, also the as yet to be named play of the week will come to you tonight. But yeah, big show coming up. Why don't you tell the folks at home different ways that they can communicate with the show?
Well, of course, they can all see some on the bottom of the screen here. But if you want to get up with us, you can use us on Twitter at All New Sports Show. We actually got hit up with our Patelco Credit Union player of the game. He contacted us on Twitter, so that was really cool. You'll see who that was in just a few minutes. Of course, you can also get us on Facebook, facebook.com/allnewsportshow, instagram.com/allnewsportshow. If you want to see any of our videos, our interviews, our plays of the week, all that great stuff, go to youtube.com/theallnewsportshow for everything there. Email us, allnewsportshow@gmail.com. Send your letters and parcels, but please no live animals, to 1701. No, really, you're not going to take live animals.
Make sure you at least poke some holes in there so they are alive when they get here.
1701 Sunset Avenue, Suite 201, Rocky Mount, North Carolina, 27804. On Twitter, he's
at Wes Bradshaw 21.
I'm at Edward Green, and that's how you can get up with us on the social media.
That's right. And folks, as you know, tonight we do bring back the phone.
Yeah, it's been missing a few days.
Invented by Alexander Graham Bell many years ago.
Impressive.
There's your history lesson for the week.
Well done.
Now, folks, just remember one little thing about the phone. We know some of you at home may have the number, but don't call us.
Yeah, we'll call you.
We'll call you.
But we probably won't call you if you're trying to call us.
Exactly, because we're only trying to call 2 people tonight, and neither one of them are probably you.
Yes.
So, anyway. All right. Ed?
Yeah.
Man, let's jump right into it. The Friday night high school football game of the week. We returned. We stood on the Jeff Craddock Skywalk. It was amazing.
Beautiful.
Beautiful night in Tarboro.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous. You know, here we are mid to late August. Usually it's up there. We're sweltering, we're schwitzing just a bit.
Yeah, whatever that is.
It's a little musty up there sometimes, but this week, folks, just absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful golden fur. But we stood up top. Clint Williams, hadn't seen him in a fortnight of Sundays, or whatever my great granddad used to tell me back in the day. Hadn't seen him in a while. Good to see him back behind the camera. Suboptimal as ever himself. And Ed, we went into a game where we didn't really know. That was a game we didn't really know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Everybody had their ideas. Some had better ideas than others.
Yes. Questions were asked. Sometimes they were answered. Sometimes we had to get clarification after why they were answered.
Absolutely, but we're finding out some things as we go. But Ed, really, for week one, I didn't think it was that bad playing a ball game.
No.
Nash Central had penalty problems, which that's kind of become a staple of Nash Central at this point. Something they got to work on a lot.
But actually not as many as you'd think. Once you look at the final
Exactly, and
stat
really
sheet.
not as many as you think on both sides. The ball was put on the ground a few times by each team. But really, for a first game of the season game, I thought it was pretty clean overall.
The only thing I thought you could really see that it was the first game of the year. So many injuries, especially on Nash Central. A lot of stoppages in play, mostly cramping, but a lot of stoppages of play. It did look like there were a few people nicked and bruised. I know Tay Battle for Tarboro came out multiple times. I looked like it was just cramping, but it's something to keep an eye on here going forward as it still stays hot. But other than that, I think a very, very clean game on both sides.
I would say so. Final score, Tarboro 33, Nash Central 6. Tarboro came out, Roddy Piper, just to throw a wrestling reference in there early because we need it. Piper was always famous for saying, you ask the questions and I change the answers. Well, Jeff Craddock, we asked the questions all summer. What are you going to do with that offense? Well, then he turned around and changed the answers on us because we were thinking one thing and we saw something totally different. We saw a team that looked to be nearly in mid-season form offensively. Tarboro was fantastic on offense. Could have been better. Did put the ball on the ground a few times. Kicked themselves in the back of the leg a few times. But overall, they look good. And if that's what we're going to see from Tarboro going forward this year, with the improvement you expect to see, man, that's a scary offense already. And as he said, no big D1 guy this year. Just a team who believes in each other.
Going up against a Nash Central defense that we thought was going to be pretty darn good again this year, they managed to rack up 269 yards on just 44 carries. A lot of that coming from Deshaun Farmer, 112 yards on 15 carries. The first 3 touchdowns, he was my pick to click this week, and man, did he ever. Some amazing runs, showed off some great agility, went down at one point, was able to not go down to a knee, though, and ended up scoring his second touchdown, which you might be seeing later.
And if you don't believe us, stick around later in the show, and you might believe us.
And I was just really impressed. The quarterback situation needs to get ironed out a little bit. Still a sophomore quarterback in his first varsity start, so he's going to learn how it's going to get better. But, man, those running backs from Battle to Farmer, Marquise Clapp had a few big runs. He got 44 yards on 6 rushes. They are doing really well already, and that is scary for the rest of the world. I'm gonna want to see how they handle maybe a bit of a better team that can really punch in the mouth offensively as well. Maybe like Southern Nash or Washington. But man, this team looks really good so far.
They do. The big key for them offensively was going to be the offensive line. They returned all 5 starters, and they look like they returned 5 starters. A vaunted Nash Central defense led by Division I, prospect Hashan Gaines. They didn't have a lot of answers for Tarboro. Tarboro, they did a few times with the big play, but then they had some of those nice methodical Tarboro, just run down the field and hold on to the football kind of drives.
The drive to end the first half, right after Nash Central had made it 14-6, and you thought maybe the tide is starting to turn a little bit. I believe Nash Central went on a 10-plus play drive, ate up the majority of the remainder of the clock, and Farmer then put it in for a touchdown. And I think that was when you said, oh, no, Tarboro is now for real. Again, a lot of issues, some issues still to work out for sure. They're going to have to be better, but considering where I think we both thought they were, a very, very impressive showing. Also an impressive showing for Nash Central. Some real hope for the first time in a while, maybe. Some very good job. Corey Pierce going under center for Nash Central, taking over at quarterback, just a sophomore. Liked what I saw from him. Very dynamic as a runner and has a decent arm to go with it.
Agreement. And we've got some breaking news today.
Yes, you did.
From one
Our
of
sources.
my sourceful insiders. Who I'm not going to give away my sourceful insiders, but I have them. Corey, as they call him, CJ Pierce. CJ going to be the starting quarterback going forward for Nash Central. Apparently what happened, they had not planned to use him that much the other night, but DeMarco Brown, the starting quarterback, is also playing defense. Early season, with some of the heat that was out there, was, winded after a few series. So CJ came in and played well, and the note I made, thimbles full of hope.
Yeah.
Thimblefuls of hope.
Which is about a thimbleful more than they had last year.
Absolutely.
I think Pierce is a quarterback they can build around. I think they should maybe concentrate earlier, maybe in the year, working the short to mid-range game. He has a good arm. We saw him air one out a couple times, but just not very accurate on deep throws down the field. I want to see him start to get those short to intermediate passes down, and if he can do that, because if they're going to run the spread, kind of spread option formations a
Which is
lot,
what we saw mostly the other night.
they're going to have to at least have a threat to throw.
Right.
They don't even have to throw that much, because Pierce was very good coming out of the backfield and running, but they have to have at least the threat that he can complete passes down the field, and if they can do that, 14 to 17 points a game is no longer out of the question for this team.
That's right. Defensively, we'll get to the defense a little bit, but the offense, something they did last year with Nash Central, they left their defense in tough spots. What was a good defense last year? They did it some in this game.
Not as much as last year.
Not as much as last year, but I was hopeful coming out of that game for Nash Central.
I think that's the best part.
I picked them to win 2 to 3 games this year. I thought Tarboro could be one. I was very wrong, obviously, and I will be reminded of that a little bit.
Yes.
But there was hope.
Overall, and I think that's the big thing. I think if you guys listen to our game on Saturday,
right.
and you guys have heard us talk in the past, I think a lot of times we come off a little negative towards Nash Central. But for the first, I think it's just a case of us being honest. But honestly, right now, this is the best they've looked in a couple years.
Very much.
And this is a reason of hope. You won't see the wins this year, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think 2 is maybe their ceiling, really. You go 3, I say 2 is probably their ceiling at this point.
Well, I said 3, including Tarboro.
That's true, yes. Not quite. But I think next year, if they can keep progressing, I think next year is a year that they can aim to finish 500 or better and go for a playoff spot.
I agree with that. And talking about offense, the star of the show in the offensive game for both teams was our Telco Credit Union player of the game. His name, Deshaun.
Deshaun?
Or Deshaun?
Or Reshawn?
Whatever you want to call him. He doesn't care as long as you're saying the last name Farmer and you're putting it on the board. Or even putting it on the grill. Hashtag. Either way, he was our Telco Credit Union player of the game. We caught up with him after the game. Great young man. I had a lot of fun talking to him. And we're going to take you back out to Viking Stadium right now to see our conversation with Deshaun Farmer. Folks, we are here with this week's all-new sports show player interview with tonight's hat trick man himself, Deshaun Farmer. Deshaun, you guys come out. Your offensive line returns. The rest of you guys are new starters, man. Had a lot to prove, a big legacy to live up to here. You come out and, man, you picked up that Tarboro running back legacy and you ran with it. 3 touchdowns for you tonight in the first half. Just tell us real quick, how did you guys feel coming into this ball game tonight?
We felt good. We've been putting in the hard work ever since December, actually. Felt so ever since then. Just been pushing and pushing. And our whole motto this year has been like a family, because we really don't have like individual, like a girly or those type of players right now. So we just been pulling together and keep plugging and plugging. And
Deshaun, talk to us a little bit about that second touchdown when you almost went down right over there in the corner, stood up and walked into the end zone. Tell us what was going through your mind on that play.
I really don't know. Coach Reams always says, don't let no one man brings a Tarboro back down. So He got me, but I got away, so I just got up and kept moving, and I was in the end zone.
Did you think you were down?
No, I didn't know. I didn't think I was down at first. I thought they was going to try to make me down, but I knew I wasn't down, so I just kept it moving.
Deshaun, for you guys, it seems the T-shirt that we're seeing tonight around the Tarboro faithful, unfinished business. This is a Tarboro program that if you're not in the state championship game, it's just not good enough around here. Is that the attitude you guys are taking this year?
Oh, yes, sir. That's all we're trying to get back. Just trying to get the Tarboro legacy going again. Just trying to get back. Everybody think it's done, but it's just getting started once again. It's about to get real. It's about to get real.
Deshaun, any thoughts going into next week's game? Never too early to start thinking about that, of course.
I mean, coaches will break film down probably tomorrow after they meet with us at 10. So, I mean, same thing. Just keep plugging, punching, and actually go back to school Monday, so it's even better than me. So, I mean, we're just going to keep plugging and just see what we get. Pray we get a win, and everything will work out for us.
Folks, Deshaun Farmer, he's your Telco Credit Union player of the game. We're going to head back now to the palatial All-New Sports Show studios at the Power Plant in Rocky Mount here on the All-New Sports Show.
There you go.
Big thanks, Deshaun. Great interview.
Also want to mention, thanks for following us now on Twitter, Deshaun, at @TheReal7th_. If you guys want to go check him out there.
That's right. Or if you want to, just go to our page, look at our followers,
There you go.
and you'll be able to find him
Or our
in there.
retweets, because he retweeted us too.
There you go. He did retweet. He's cool with the retweet.
He knows the social media. He knows what's up. All right, on to the defense. Again, congratulations to our Telco Credit Union player of the game. But the defense, I think, again, for Nash Central, you hit it on the head. They got put in some positions, not as many as last year, but they still got in a few positions. And I think the 33 is a bit
Skewed.
skewed. And I think that it's...
But that said, I think Tarboro had other opportunities where they could have been at more than 33.
That's true. That's not terrible.
So I didn't think they were bad.
No.
I've seen bad defenses. Nash Central was not one of them. Now, one thing that kind of made me a little, Tarboro controlled Hashawn Gaines through that game.
That is true. They did.
Hashawn Gaines, I mean, he's a D1 kid, 6'3", 225, can run, big, strong kid. They controlled him pretty well on the outside. He did not get to very much. I mean, I only remember a couple times that I saw him around the ball in the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he had some plays, obviously, when they got out, but that was after picking up yards. You want a guy like that cutting off a whole half of the line, so you're forcing them to run into your strong side.
I actually think we ended up calling Charles Harvey's name more on defense than we called Gaines' name, and I think that's he's going to need to be better. And I think part of that is Tarboro's got a really good coaching staff, and I'm sure they game planned around him. I'm sure they knew who he was. But I think obviously it's also the first game of the year, but I think Gaines is going to have to be the rock of that defense, and he's going to have to be a little better. And and he can be better, and I think he will be better going forward.
Well, one thing early in the game, especially to me, it seemed like Nash Central was not very fired up on the defensive side of the ball. Now they got more into it as the game went, but those first few drives by Tarboro, it just seemed like Nash Central was kind of back on their heels, a little indecisive what to do. But once again, from Nash Central, we saw the makings of what should be another very good defense for the Bulldogs. I still expect that to be the best part of their game this year is their defense, and their offense just needs to kind of do enough to give their defense a chance to win football games.
Well, then what do we think of Tarboro's defense going up against an offense that we had a lot of questions about at the start? We're more impressed, I think, than we thought we were going to be with.
Yeah.
But still, how much do we really know about this Tarboro defense that a lot of them are coming up from a JV squad that basically almost didn't give up a point last year?
Dominant.
Do we think, how much stock do we put in the 6 points they give up?
I don't think that's going to be the routine, giving up 6, but I think this is a team that's going to hold they're going to hold a lot of teams below 20. Now, coming up, the schedule's getting tough now for Tarboro. And this is how Jeff Craddock built his schedule, knowing, that he was going to be in the Two Rivers 1A conference and that he was definitely going to be the big dog in there. He built this schedule to be difficult. Coming up, they host Washington next week. Washington's
great game.
Washington's a good one. Beat them last year. They go to a much improved Northern Nash team. They're going to host Southwest Edgecombe. Then they go to Roanoke Rapids, bye week at Southern Nash. That's your non-conference.
Yep.
That's a tough non-conference. Like I think I said, if they come out with 3 wins, they've had a good non-conference. I was impressed the other night, but kind of like you, I want to see them going forward.
Yes, I think that Southern Nash game even though already a few injuries for Southern Nash, and this might be a Southern Nash team that's a little down as compared to years past, but you know what they have? They have depth, and they're going to run the football. And at the base level, that's what teams you're going to see deep into the playoffs. That's what they're going to do. That's even at the 1A level, that's what they're going to do. That's what Wallace Rose Hill did a lot last year.
James Keenan, those teams, absolutely.
And that's what I want to see. I want to see how Tarboro is going to do against these great running teams. But again, good start. And we'll look to see. Well, I can't wait to see him against Southwest Edgecombe.
And now, folks, we are going to finish up our recap of our high school Friday night game of the week. And we're going to do it with an interview with our winning coach. It's time for the all-new sports show, Coach's Corner, with Jeff Craddock.
So let's head out to Tarboro right now.
Segment here of our Coach's Corner here on the all-new sports show. We are joined by a man who seems to talk to me a lot when we come out here, and that is Tarboro head coach Jeff Craddock. Coach, I was just starting to tell you, I did a horrible thing this week, Coach. I started thinking too much. Coach, when I think bad things happen, I'm just supposed to go with my gut, my instinct. Coach, I started looking. I saw 5 offensive starters back. I saw 3 defensive starters back. Then I looked across at the other side. I saw 18 starters back on the Nash Central team, a Division I defensive back, a kid that I know can absolutely fly in Charles Harvey. And, Coach, I took Nash Central in a squeaker this week. Now, folks, I am not afraid to say when I was wrong. And Coach Jeff Craddock, a 33-6 win tonight, an emphatic win. But, hey, we watched this whole ball game. Coach, you got the good win to start the season. But, man, as any good coach loves, you still got plenty of room to chew some butts out.
Well, yes, we do. And we have plenty to work on, as you saw. And I won't take 30 minutes of your time going through the list of things that we have to fix. But, you know, what I love about this group of kids is they aspire to be great. And they realize that they don't really have any star power. They realize that, you know, we have a bunch of good high school football players, and our theme has been family. And I said, because if we play 31 strong, we have a chance to be very, very good. But if we're not 31 strong, we'll be very, very average. And so they were so disappointed. Like you said, we won the game 33-6, but you could feel just a cloud of disappointment over there. And I didn't even go any detail. I said, guys, let me be the first to congratulate you on the win. They were all kind of starry-eyed. I said, you know, when you work hard, as we do, these wins are tough to come by. And when you get them, you better celebrate them. So I told them that all the mistakes we made are very fixable. And you won a game 33-6. And celebrate and enjoy. And we'll be up here at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to learn from our mistakes.
Well, one of those positives, obviously, Farmer, it was a great get tonight. 3 touchdowns, had some amazing runs. Talk about him and what he's bringing now as maybe your feature back going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for somebody to step up, and I'm waiting, you know, next week I'll be watching again. But Deshaun, first of all, he's a fantastic Class A kid. I mean, I love him to death, and he's worked really hard his whole career, and he's really pushed it going into his senior year. And he knows that we've had this string of, you know, one really good back that kind of stands out over the others. And, you know, if you look on paper, this is his senior year. He toted it some for us last year. He's not as big as some of the running backs we've had, but he's a competitor, and he is patient, and he has a little bit of a burst and some speed to him. So I don't know how many yards he had. I know he had 3 touchdowns, but I know he had a good game, made some great runs for us, so very happy for him.
Coach, your defense. Was it really something we were thinking about over the summer? How's this defense going to perform? You were bringing up a lot of really good kids from JV. You had some good backups from last year, but it's a totally different experience when you're the starting 11 on Friday night, and it's up to you. Man, your kids, you know, aside from a few runs here and there, your kids really stepped up and performed tonight defensively.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good you know, I was looking to something to complain to them a little bit more. I mean, they got us on the outside on their jet sweeps, I think maybe 3 or 4 times, but I felt like we bottled up their little option game, or underneath there the quarterbacks pulling on the jets and their counters, and we contained their passing game. So really, I thought we showed flashes of being a really, really good defense, you know, throughout the day. So I don't know how many total yards they had. I'll look at all that here in a minute. But, you know, but we can't have those breakdowns. You know, we can't be giving up. It's 3rd and 15, and a team runs a basic, one of their favorite plays, and they get 20 yards. You know, we can't. You can't do those things and become great. But yeah, there's things there that I can sure show them as positives, and of course, like you said, there's things that I can say, guys, we can't do these things. So for the first game, you know, I didn't really like that they scored 6 because we had them 3rd and 13, and we get a personal foul call, and that gave them a first down, and we did something else stupid I can't remember during that drive that put them in a good spot, but they took advantage of it, and they made the play.
Dawson Harris, your starting quarterback tonight, a sophomore, maybe had a few jitters tonight. What did you think of his overall performance?
Dawson did great. I don't care if you're a sophomore or not, you're doing something wrong. I mean, this was his first time, with me in game situations. There's been a lot of other players that, been there, weathered the storm. They know it's coming. It goes off their back. So I thought, I got Dawson a couple times. But for being a sophomore coming out here, he didn't put us in bad situations. I mean, I thought he handled the offense well. He didn't lose his cool. Completed a quickie pass on 3rd and 10, which allowed a drive to continue. We ran a boot for him that he really runs well, but we just didn't get any time to make a play. But, I mean, I thought Dawson did great for a sophomore coming out here under the big stage.
And, Coach, just right now, where you thought your team would be at this point to where they are at this point, where are they in there?
Well, I thought we played, I know it's going to sound scary, I thought we played a little bit better than what I thought we were going to play, to be honest with you. I mean, I was really pleased. First half, I thought, we didn't do really too bad. I mean, I forget what the score was. Can't remember. Was it 14, 22 to 6 or 26? I loved how we gave them one, on defense. They scored, and then there at the end we bowed up and we scored, which I thought took a little momentum back. And then defensively we came out and just boom, 3 plays and got the ball back. And we had it, I think, inside the 10 or 15, and we went kaput. And so wasn't very pleased about that. But overall, I thought we showed flashes that given time and hard work that we can become a great football team.
Folks, Tarboro Coach Jeff Craddock, he likes to make it a point to talk to me and Ed after these ball games. Of course, he also knows that if he's talking to me and Ed, if we're hunting him down, he's got another victory in the books here for Tarboro football. Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time out of your post-game to talk to us. We really appreciate each and every week. Man, we look forward to seeing what the 2014 Tarboro Vikings have in store.
Thank you. God bless, and don't pick against us again.
Never will, Coach. You got it. Folks, we're going to sit back to the studios where I will probably be with my head on the table crying because I did bad this week. Back to the studio for more of the All New Sports Show.
And welcome back. It's okay.
I won't have my head on the table, but I'm too fat to get down there and still.
Never again.
Never again.
Ever.
I don't care if the Green Bay Packers are coming to town. Tarboro is going to beat them by 1. It's happening.
Yep.
Big thanks to head coach Jeff Craddock, who, as he likes to do, kind of makes it a habit to talk to us after we do Tarboro.
That's what happens when they always win, pretty much.
Yeah, they win a lot. They win a lot, and they like to do it when we're in attendance. So, big thanks to Jeff Craddock. We'll see them again, I believe, September 12th.
Function at the Junction.
Function at the Junction. That'll be fun to see Tarboro in about 3 more weeks. Folks, this is the All New Sports Show brought to you each and every week by Roger G. Taylor and Associates. Also, the people you see at the bottom of the screen as the show goes on, our other fantastic sponsors. Without them, we're not doing what we're doing. And my wife's usually not going to be very happy at that point. So
that's true. And right now, what we're doing is speaking with Paul Durham of the Wilson Times after a glorious first week of high school football. Paul, it's finally back.
It is finally back. And it feels like fall tonight.
It does.
Oh, it's great.
A nice chill. In the
Probably
air.
I'm a bit stuffy in the sinuses.
It is definitely not stuffy. I would have preferred a little warmer weather for my ALS ice bucket challenge that I performed this afternoon. With my wife dumping a bucket of ice water on my head. So I've got that under my belt and I'm ready to talk about some football.
Fantastic. Well, man, let's start with this year's Big Bad Wolf of Wilson County. Let's start with the Fight Golden Demons. A tough opening game against Bunn. They came out looking pretty good, 28-0. Fight taking care of business on Friday night.
Yeah, tough on paper. I guess Bunn was picked to win their conference, the Northern Carolina 2A conference. Didn't end up being so tough for Fight with a 28-0 win. Maybe not quite as much of the offensive fireworks as Fight was putting up last year, but the big story over in Buddy Bedgood Stadium on Friday night was, I think, the Fight defense. I think Coach Tom Nelson was really happy with the shutout of what is supposed to be a pretty good Bunn team this year. Fight got the charge, but they didn't. We got them for 160 total yards, including 38 passing. And meanwhile, Fight had 402 yards of offense with big thundering junior fullback A.J. Hines rushing for 156 of those on the ground. And quarterback D.J. Daniels throwing 7-14 for 121 yards, 2 TDs. Anthony Evans, boo-boo. Quiet night by his standards, only 6 carries for 46 yards. Did catch 2 passes for 35 yards. which was probably a third of his total output last year, because Nelson said he was going to throw him the ball a lot more this year, just to, make defenses more honest. So I'd say that was a spectacular season debut for the Demons on Friday night.
So is there any cause for concern, Paul? We do see they had 62 yards of penalties for 8 total penalties. There were a few slip-ups, but this is still the team to beat in the Big East Conference and maybe go deep from our area in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, football coaches will say otherwise, but if you ask me, August 22nd, I wouldn't sweat the penalties.
Gotcha.
If you're still having those kinds of penalties when conference starts, you got a problem, or even before. First game of the season, you work to fix them, but if that's the worst thing about your game Friday night, then you're in pretty good shape. So I would say right now, there's probably a lot of improvement. If you talk to the 5 coaches and every other coach in the state, they want their teams to get better, but might look pretty good Friday night.
Maybe our passing giant in Wilson County, who has been the big dog for a long time now, did not get the start that they hoped for, as Hunt loses 20-17 to South Central. And man, it was a tough one. Loss, I believe, on the road. It was on the road. What's our report for the Hunt Warriors at the moment?
Heartbreaker. South Central scores the winning touchdown with 13 seconds to go on a 20-yard pass. And, my first thought was those kinds of passes were not completed. I mean, not taking anything away from the Hunt secondary this year, because they have some good players back there, but that secondary they had last year with Malik Williams and Dexter Wright, all of those, Justin Jefferson, all of those guys were like over 6'2". You just didn't throw those kinds of passes against Hunt in that situation. So that was the first thing I thought of. But, South Central is a good team. I don't know how well they're going to do it. They're playing a tough conference. So they're 4A and that 3A, 4A Eastern Carolina. They've got a kid, Sean Furlow, who's collected several offers from Atlantic Coast Conference schools, and he caught the winning pass. But, ultimately the thing is going to come down really for Hunt. They did not have a great offensive night. They only gained 181 yards on the ground. They had a chance to put the game away and ran the ball at the middle 3 straight times. South Central just stuffed them, got the ball back, and then went right downfield and scored on the Warriors. And then Hunt's offense was really, a lot of it came on 2 big runs. Darius Barnes, a junior who's expected to be the feature back in their offense, he had an 85-yard touchdown run early in the third quarter. And then Ivan Ampley, who played JV last year, very first varsity touch, takes it 43 yards to the house to give Hunt the lead. They were trailing 7-3 at the half, and they took a 17-7 lead into the fourth quarter. And the end of the third quarter is when South Central cut it to 17-13 after the kick failed. But, the thing is, Hunt's offense has got to get better. I kind of look at this game like last year. They went to South Central. They hosted South Central, and they beat what was not really a great South Central team. Mm-hmm. But in week 2, Hunt lost to Hertford County.
Right.
And Hertford turned out to be not very good, and that was the one loss at the end of the year when Hunt was going back to the Eastern Championship in the 3AA bracket. So how did they do that? So, this very could well be one of those things where you look back and South Central might end up going 7-4 or 8-3. Uh-huh. But you still might look back in November and think, how did Hunt lose that game?
Well, Paul, the thing I after reading Jimmy Lewis's game story on this, one of the key themes I keep seeing brought up is missed opportunities. They had a chance with about 2 minutes to go to run out the clock, couldn't get a first down. There's also mention of a couple more chances they had to score up 17-7 to really salt the game away and just couldn't do it. Is this, again, just a first game thing, or is this maybe endemic of something we need to keep an eye on throughout the season?
Well, the thing that Jimmy and I talked about as well was that, and I think he'll expound upon this in our Tuesdays between Fridays section where we talk about all the games the previous Friday, was that Hunt has a lot of offensive weapons, and they didn't really use them a lot. Jacob Williamson, he didn't throw as many passes. Hey Davis did not even line up as the Wildcat. He had some big kickoff returns. Well, one of them got called back on a penalty. And he's a super fast sophomore. So I think Hunt's offense is maybe trying to find its I mean, you're supposed to do that in the preseason, but hey, sometimes it takes a while. And we're talking about an offense that relied on seniors who weren't there anymore this year. So from last year, so they've got quite a bit of stuff to work on. But if they go into a game and they've got a lot of kids contributing and they still come up short, then that's one thing. But I think right now they're just trying to iron out some wrinkles.
Now let's talk about a team that offensively they have hit the ground running. Let's talk about Benningfield. Ed, what have we got there scoring?
30-6 rout of Green Central. And I tell you what, we talked a lot about Kavaje Ellis coming into this season. When you were here on our show, Paul, just a few weeks ago, you were very high on him. And it looks like he is all that has been advertised last year, and maybe even has taken a few steps forward as well.
Well, he certainly showed it Friday night, and this is what I get from Coach Johnson over at Benningfield. That Kavaje can throw the ball. He definitely showed that. He never really used his running ability effectively last year because I think he was really just trying to figure it out.
Uh-huh.
He's now able to take off with the ball. He showed that Friday night, but what he really showed was how accurate his arm. I mean, he completed his first 10 passes for 134 yards, and he just had a burst. Let me read some stats for you. He finished up with 10 carries, 117 yards in the TD. He was 17 for 25, I think is what Tom Ham's got. 226 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. I mean, if he can produce like that, he's going to be a headache for a lot of defensive coordinators this season, just because he can do a lot of things with the ball, and he's got some pretty good receivers. And Bentonville's got some, couple of reliable running backs back there in DeMonte Cherry and Deshae Lindsey. So, if they stay healthy, Green Central's supposed to finish second in their conference. Now, there might be a big difference between second in the Eastern Carolina Conference and second in the Eastern Plains Conference, but still, I mean, Benningfield probably could have scored a lot more points, but second half play, they had some injuries. Javius Nixon got hurt. Kavaje even sat out. DeMonte Cherry was cramping up. Their offense, they didn't really stay with it, but I mean, they'd already scored 30 points. And they had some turnovers deep in Green Central territory, so it could have been a lot more one-sided than it was. But overall, very impressive start for the Bruins and Kavaje Ellis at quarterback.
All right, a 2-1 week in Wilson County, Paul. Not a bad way to start it. And Hunt's going to be chomping at the bit to get some back this week. Paul Durham, week 1 in the books. We thank you guys so much over at the Wilson Times for what you do, and we thank you so much for hopping on with us tonight in the All New Sports Show. Paul, just one question. Big 2 weeks out of the way of soccer now. Anything you want to add about the Barclays Premier League?
Nope.
All righty then. Folks, Paul Durham.
All right.
Thank you, Paul.
Wilson Times.
You guys
Talk to you later, Paul.
All right.
Fantastic job.
All right, folks, it is time for a commercial break. When we come back, the most exciting minute of your week.
You know it.
Jesse H. Nunnery of the Rocky Mount Telegram. Bishop's Corner still to come. The Crystal Clear Pepsi 6-pack. And the as-yet-to-be-named Play of the Week, plus more. Folks, take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back on the All New Sports Show, brought to you by Roger G. Taylor & Associates, here on WHIG TV.
TV. And if you're waiting on me to do it.
The new place is perfect, or at least it will be, with a little help from Dex. In the book or at DexKnows.com. Dex can help you get results fast and deliver the best local advice so you can get it done right here, right now.
We should do this more often.
Dex, results for the here and now.
Good day, Eastern Carolina. It's Mike Keffer at Mike Keffer on the 301 bypass between Rocky Mount and Wilson. How do you roll? The summer clearance event continues on all new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram trucks. As part of the Keffer Automotive Group, we offer dealer group volume pricing without driving to the big city. Large selection, easy purchase experience, extended service hours, and fast oil changes are a few of the reasons to shop in Rocky Mount. Call 855-BUY-KEFFER or shop online 24/7 at MikeKeffer.com.
All right.
Welcome back to the All New Sports Show, brought to you each and every week by Roger G. Taylor and Associates.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What a
High
segue.
school football's back.
Yes, it is.
College football is so close. It's
Absolutely.
like we're a couple days into football, but Ed, it seems like the other football, the football that you and I enjoy so much,
Glorious.
it's never really ended
No, it didn't.
because there was the season. There was Copas de Copas.
Copas de Copas.
There was the transfer window. That's still some
going.
reason is not closed, even though we're 2 weeks
One
into
more
the
week.
season.
One more week.
Folks,
The silly season.
we enjoy talking about it. We love to tell you about it. We hope that if we can convert one person to watching it around here, we've done our job.
We're
It's
still
the
waiting
most
for that
ex-
one.
It's the most exciting man of the week. It's time for 60 seconds of soccer.
Da-da!
The team who came back from the dead.
The dulcet tones of Ian Dark, which can now be heard on NBC Sports Network.
It's good.
It
isn't
is great.
Oh, Sir Ian.
Do you want to start this
30
30 or do you want me to start?
I'll take this since you actually had a match today.
All right.
Give me a countdown. Hold on. Let me do my stretches. Woo!
You good?
I'm good.
Go for it.
Folks, my 30 seconds this week does not happen on the field because Liverpool do not play until the highly anticipated Monday Night Football, where they take on Man City, a battle of last year's number 1 and number 2 teams in the Barclays Premier League. No, Ed, the story this week for Liverpool is off the pitch. It's a little man named Balotelli. That's right, folks. The most insane human being in the world, but also maybe the most talented striker in the world, Mario Balotelli, has officially signed with Liverpool. Folks, welcome to Crazy Town.
No doubt, they were chanting, the QPR fans today at White Hart Lane, "We're Tottenham in disguise." Tottenham Hotspur big 4-0 win today over QPR and former coach Ari Redknapp to vault to the top of the table in the Barclays Premier League, where we now sit Eric Dyer, the first defenseman ever in the Premier League to score 2 goals in his first 2 career games. Welcome to the team as we dare to Dyer. Also, Nasser Chadley had a brace.
Dyer is now the second greatest English player who has ever lived.
Yes, he is.
We love
love
England.
I love
All right,
it.
folks.
He's from
We
Portugal.
are actively efforting Jesse H.
Yes.
Nunnery of the
Yes.
Rocky Mount Telegram. He was having a few connection problems. So, folks, what we're going to do, we're going to let him get his connection taken care of, and we are going to instead go to Bishop's Corner.
Yes.
Introduce it, Ed. This was your Bishop's
Hey,
Corner.
this is the Great Bishop's Corner. I got a chance a couple weeks ago actually to head out to Wesleyan, where I talked to head coach Jeff Filkowski, always accommodating to us. He was very gracious
much
last
so.
year to always join us on the phone every week to give us a recap of that week's games. And of course, this year I got a chance to sit down in his office with him for a very lovely interview. As you see the logo going up behind me. Fantastic job, Lee and producer Des.
BC is back.
You guys are doing a great job back there. So there it is. We're going to head out now over to the campus at NC Wesleyan, where I had a fantastic chat with head coach Jeff Filkowski. All right, guys, out here at the campus of North Carolina Wesleyan for this first look at the Battling Bishops in our Bishops Corner segment. Second-year head coach of the football program, Jeff Filkowski, joined us today. Coach, we were talking a little bit before we went on camera here. Your guys are in the midst of a summer workout program on their own.
Yeah, certainly. As I explained to you, the difference between us and Division One is, Division One, the Dukes, the North Carolinas, so they get to keep their guys through the summertime and have them work out on campus. The difference is at Division Three. I want my guys to go home and be with family, and not only that, work a little bit, make some money so they can pay for their education here. And certainly we trust that they're out there in doing their off-season program that we gave them before they left.
Well, second year with the program. Last year, 2-8 campaign, 2-5 in conference play. Building on that this season, what are you looking for? What are you looking to maybe implement with these guys that you weren't able to last year? Being a first-year head coach, obviously that's very difficult.
Yeah, and certainly year two is normally better than year one. Certainly getting to know the players, the skill sets, the integrity, the character, the different things that come along with football are important. And now I get a gauge of being with them. And last year was kind of a whirlwind, trying to figure out who was a player, who's not a player, and trying to win football games at the same time. And progressively throughout the year, offensively, I believe we got a lot better. We figured out who our tools were and where our skills were, who to tailor the game to, and we're excited on that side of the football. Certainly on defense, we got a lot of work to do, but we got a lot of young guys, as you mentioned, that have played a lot of football for us as freshmen and sophomores, and they're only going to get better as the years progress. And that's the one thing, we mentioned year 1 to year 2. You can only get better in college athletics a year at a time. I mean, you can only get older. And it takes a year until you can be 19, 20, 21. And we need to grow up a little bit.
Well, one of those guys that was really one of the foundations of your defense came on last year. One of your top tacklers, Trayvon Marshall. He was one of the first-team all-conference players for this team. Also, Jock Alston, your dynamic running back, who was a junior last year. Two guys you can really look to on each side of the ball, as well as returning quarterbacks, Robbie Lanier and Dustin Midget. Talk us through those guys and anybody else you're going to be looking to after last year's campaign going into this season.
Yeah, and those first two guys, and again, I've been around this game a long time, and certainly I'm happy they're playing in the blue and gold, if you would. But they're as good as I've been around at this level. Trayvon Marshall, came in here as a freshman and played well above the call of duty, if you would, as a freshman. And we're going to look to him to grow quickly as far as leadership roles, as far as, style of defense and temperament and aggressiveness to the football, things that he brings to the table naturally, hopefully through his leadership, our coaching, and his know-how. Maybe we all 11 become like that, and that is the cry to get there. Jay, I mean, you said it. I mean, he's as dynamic, and I'm a humble guy. I look at him, and I've been around and seen some great running backs, especially at this level, the last league I was at. I'd put him up against anybody. I got to think he's the best running back in the country.
Wow, that is high praise.
Yeah, and like I said, I've been around this game a long time, and he's special. And then the quarterback play, I mean, the beauty of those two guys, they're both going to be juniors. They both played. They both performed well at times in the offense. They both have that, again, year 2 in a system. I think they're only going to grow and get better. The skill set is there. The perfection or perfecting it certainly is something we're going to work on through camp. But it is a great relaxing comfort knowing you have 2 juniors that have played and have played well.
Well, just breaking it down, obviously the quarterback position, one of the top positions people are looking out for, even the ones that maybe don't know the team so well, that's one they're going to key on. Tell us a little bit more about Lanier and Midget and what kind of each one brings to the table.
They're kind of the same as far as skill set. They got big-time arms. They're bigger kids. They're athletic for their size. They can handle escaping the rush and getting out of the pocket and getting you some rushing yards. They ain't going to be somebody we do the Oregon stuff with, ride and read and do, but we do a little bit enough to be dangerous. But they're they're almost the same guy, The perfection in honing in their skills is, going to set one apart from the other. And that's what camp's all about. I mean, it's a great situation to have 2 guys that are very good competing against each other.
Of course,
they're going to make each other better.
Yeah, and that can lead to everything in camp. Everybody competing against each other, and it's great. Looking forward to the season. An extra conference game this year. That gets added on, so now you're going from 7 to 8 conference games. Also, you're going to be playing a Thursday night game this year at home, which is now going to be called Bishop's Field, it looks like. So now you're still playing at the Rocky Mount Athletic Complex, but now the actual field is going to be called Bishop's Field. Talk a little bit about that. And I remember we discussed some last year about how big that was for recruiting to have your own kind of home stadium, and now that it's going to have really a name to go with it.
Yeah, and certainly I do not know where the talks are. I mean, certainly saw the article in the paper. I don't know how finalized anything is. I'm not privy to all that information, but certainly, as we spoke a year ago, the big thing is having a home. Being able to walk into your own stadium, if you would. This is where we play, and that's a big thing for retention purposes. And just the one thing I want to do is protect my guys, meaning the team, and anything we can make their experience here at Wesleyan a better experience, that's great. And certainly appreciative of the city, all they're doing to make this thing happen. I mean, they did a great job at the grounds last year and painting the field, and I mean, there was a great atmosphere down there, and I am very pleased with that side as far as the city and what they do for Wesleyan football.
You drew some great crowds last year. Hopefully you can draw some more again. You got a couple Saturday night games, and of course, like we said, that Thursday night game should be a lot of fun for you guys, especially at the D3 level. That doesn't happen a whole lot.
Yeah, and it was a scheduling kind of conflict, and I got to thank CNU and to change their schedule up a little bit. I mean, I know that was something kind of a favor, if you would, to play on a Thursday night, and but it'll be a fun atmosphere, and I think it'll be a good, hopefully get all the fans out there and come watch a Thursday night football game, a good product here in town.
You said year one was the whirlwind of seeing who can play, who has character. What's the overarching goal for year two?
Besides winning more football games, certainly developing more of the structure of the program. Again, it's tough to try to, lay down the law here and try to get to know this guy and know what makes him tick. The structure of the program and who Wesleyan football is going to be about. We're going to be about running, hitting, tackling, playing a physical brand of football. And this ain't powder puff. I mean, this ain't flag football, and I like to get after it, and that's who we're going to be. And discipline is big. I mean, discipline to stay on sides whenever it's 4th and 1. Discipline to make sure that you're playing to the whistle and not having a late hit either side of the football. That is the biggest key right now. That's the key element to our football team. If we have discipline within our ranks, we're going to win a lot of football games.
Well, Coach, here's to you winning a lot of football games this year, and here's to us talking to you about it as the season progresses in our Bishop's Corner segments, and we hope to have you on a lot more on our phone conversations like we did last year.
Appreciate it.
All right, thanks. And now, let's throw it back to the studio. All righty. Thanks to head coach Jeff Filkowski. Another great interview from him. Good to see a lot of our, not a lot, but more of our local guys. Trayvon Marshall last year, the number 8. Obviously stepping up in a huge way. He's going to be a big component of that defense again this year. And now a couple of the guys are joining us from our area. And that is Bishop's Corner for the week. We'll, of course, have another one next week.
That'll be the preview coming up for them next week.
Yeah, we'll have some also a few other sports we'll talk about. A little bit of football.
Those guys kick off September 6th with a home game at the Rocky Mountain Sports Complex football stadium. Be a night game under the lights. Wesleyan football under the lights.
Boom.
Under the lights. Folks, we may have an exciting Wesleyan football announcement coming up for you maybe next week. So we'll see how that goes. But, folks, if you want excitement, we have got the guy on the phone right now.
It's not Tom Ham.
It's not Tom Ham, unfortunately. Not that much excitement. We can't harness that energy in one place. Folks,
like
we have, let's talk about some Nash County football is what we're going to do now, folks. From the Rocky Mountain Telegram, the sports editor, I guess they call you Old Man Winter down there, Jesse. You've been down there for a while.
Old Man Nunny.
We welcome Jesse H. Nunnery, Rocky Mountain Telegram sports editor. Jesse, welcome back to the All New Sports Show. It's been a while, friend.
It has been a while. That 1 week, 1 week too long, but I appreciate it. And glad that Sprint has delayed my appearance on your show for 10 minutes, but glad to be here anyway.
Sorry, we're just getting you even more into prime time. We'll just do it like that. All right, Jesse, let's hit the ground running. You made your way to Rocky Mount on Friday night and saw a really impressive first half from the Griffons, and then saw them cruise home to a, I believe, 34-0 win to start the season. Man, tell us about those Rocky Mount Griffons.
Yeah, Rocky Mount looked good. When you score on offense, defense, and special teams, you got a good thing going. You're probably going to win more games than you lose. I was impressed with a lot of things they did. Obviously, the defense didn't let South Granville, penetrate the 20-yard line at any point. Josh Carter threw the ball pretty good. He actually had a couple passes that he overthrew that could have been touchdowns. But that was another great point. And then the running game probably could have been a little bit better, but it did allow Malik Lewis to break a 70-yard run late in the game. So when you add that all up and just the fact that the kids looked like they were really into the game and competing, and Rocky Mount has a lot of promise going forward.
Great to hear. Great to hear. Josh Carter, of course, kind of the X factor of that team. I guess we'll call him half a season starting quarterback last year. You know, he's a guy who gives you a dual threat, Jesse.
Yeah. In fact, the offensive line, they let a couple of defenders slip by them a few times. He had the scramble, but a lot of his throws, I want to say both of the touchdown throws were, actually only one of the touchdown throws was on the run, but he was outside of the pocket and still showed some accuracy. So, you know, it's enough to get a quarterback to throw accurate in the pocket, and then when you can get him outside too, that just adds another dimension, along with his ability to move with his feet.
Jesse, a season ago, let's head down the road to Death Valley. A season ago, no doubt about it, this is a game Northern Nash loses. They fall behind Corinth Holders 14-0. Yeah, they did lose.
They
right.
actually lost.
Season ago, they did lose this game. They fall behind 14-0 early. They're not looking good. And then here comes Corinth Holders at the end of the game when Northern gets a lead. Here comes Corinth Holders down into the red zone in the game. Northern Nash holds on. They get off to season 2 under Randy Raper in a winning fashion. 24-20, Northern knocks off Corinth Holders. Man, that is a really, really big win for Northern Nash, even just to start the season.
Yeah, that's huge. That's one the guys can look back on and just build confidence from. I want to say it was Edward last week when we talked who mentioned that, you know, Northern might have to be in some games and win them late. And there you go. First game, Edward. They didn't make a liar out of you. And just the fact that they didn't put their heads down when they were down 14-0. And I think they were still even down 10 at one point in the second half. And to come back, that just shows mentally, even more than what they have on the field physically, where they are and their belief and what they can do and what kind of season they can have that could possibly be even better than some have predicted for them.
And Jesse, you know, I think that goes back to their yes, yeah, you too. I think that goes back to their head coach a little bit. You know, Coach Raper now in his second year. I think last year was basically about him introducing himself to the guys and getting them onto his game plan. But I think now he's really instilled a sense of how to win games. You know, they won about 4 last year, but this is another step. You know, having those comeback wins and finishing them off is great. We don't want to make too much from a week 1 win, but this is obviously a big step going forward for them.
Yeah, it's huge, and I think even when we get toward conference, we kind of agree that, you know, 1 and 2 are pretty close, and that 3 through 5, you know, there could be an order, but really it's not that much difference.
You're right.
So if Northern has a game like this later in the year, and they're the team that just, you know, wins fourth quarters, then, you know, the sky's the limit for them. They can be a playoffs team, and, you know, week 1 showed that.
And now we talk about a team who maybe we didn't have the hopes so high for this year in a game that I don't think a lot of people thought they would win. Southern Nash not only, you know, beat Southwest Edgecombe in the Sweet Potato Bowl,
yes,
but they pretty much walked the dog on Southwest Edgecombe, what is supposed to be a strong Southwest Edgecombe team. What does this say about the statement of intent from Southern Nash?
Yeah, I heard you tell Coach Craddock earlier in your interview that you kind of drank the juice of Nash Central, and I did the same with Southwest Edgecombe early. I kind of let Coach Foster trick me into believing that he didn't know how much of a good chance he had on Friday night.
He always does. He's a rascally.
Went with the home team, and obviously that was the wrong choice because Southern just came out and played Southern football and really did well. Even defensively, I know they scored 33 points or so? But defensively, to hold Southwest Edgecombe to 16, Southwest has some great backs and a good offense. And I think they're going to score more than 16 points on most of their opponents. So that said something about Southern Nash's defense in week 1.
And what does this tell us now about Southwest Edgecombe, a team that we thought was going to come out of the blocks ready to rock and roll? You know, they're heading to North Edgecombe this Thursday night, and what suddenly for them, with the way their schedule works out, man, this is kind of must-win territory suddenly for Southwest Edgecombe early.
Yeah, they've had a couple of, I think their past 2 seasons, they've had a couple of years where they've come out a little bit slower than normal, and then they kind of round into form mid-season. So I'm not too down on them. I'm going to probably give Southern Nash more credit than to be down on what Southwest Edgecombe's going to do in the coming weeks.
We talked about Southwest heading to Leggett this Thursday to play North Edgecombe. North Edgecombe, a resounding win to open their season, 52-0, I believe. You know, what do we have coming out of Leggett that we know of?
Well, you know, I think we have a good offense for sure, and a team that likes to compete, and a team that, you know, in year 3 under Coach Perisher, they know what to expect from him. At the same time, can't read too much into week 1. Northwest Halifax, I think they probably would have enjoyed having the 3 of us on their team just to add a little bit of depth. I'm not sure if they even suited up 15 players that night. So it would be good to see North Edgecombe compete against Southwest Edgecombe this Friday, make this rivalry game an actual game, and, you know, just see where it's at. You know, if it's a game in the 3rd or 4th quarter, I think that would be exciting for them. They haven't beaten them in years. I don't even think my history goes back that far.
They haven't been beating them since I got here. I know that.
Well, no, they didn't beat them when Raymond Cobb was there. So.
That's what I want to see out of it Thursday night.
I think that was kind of the key. Whoever holds the Cobb holds the gold in Edgecombe County. And let's talk about another one of our 1A schools, Rocky Mount Prep. Man, they went up against probably my second favorite team in the world at all things, and that is the Kippers of Kip Pride. An 8-8 game at halftime, and you might be sitting there thinking, oh man, same old Rocky Mount Prep. But Rocky Mount Prep, second half, they blew the doors off, I believe, a 33-8 final score victory over what I'm deeming to be an extremely strong Kip Pride team that could probably challenge for a Super Bowl title if needed. I'm just telling the truth. I believe in the Kippers. Rocky Mount Prep, man, what have we got?
Yeah, well, Pride's not going to challenge the Legion of Boom and Seattle Seahawks, but they did give Rocky Mount Prep a game for a half, like you said, and I think Prep's going to be a team that you're probably looking at around the same win total as last year. If they won 3 or 4, that'd be a lot, and I think Coach Danny Ward just said he wants to see his team compete, and they did. I mean, they had a game where they were not totally much better than the other team the first 24 minutes, and then they turned it on. 2 names you'll probably see us write about over and over are Mark Tan and Percy Harper. Those 2 guys, I think, combined for all of their touchdowns the other night, and they're just their playmakers. So they don't have many of them, but they have 2 good ones, and Danny Ward's a smart guy. Give the ball to the guys who can make plays.
Well, coaching 101, we'll take it. Jesse, man, we know once again we blame Sprint and their family, whatever they want to call their plans. We blame them for not getting you on early.
The hamster was taking over the other line.
That's it. And the golf had run into the side of the building. Apparently. So whatever. Thanks. And Judy Greer was there. Love Judy Greer.
Love Judy Greer.
Love you, Judy. Jesse, thank you so much. And Jesse, before we get off, we know you are watching us tonight in the Rocky Mount Telegram newsroom. Perfect show to be watching, obviously, because you want the hard-hitting sports highlights. Jesse, we talked about our Barclays Premier League. We know you've got opinions. What you got tonight?
I don't have one opinion. Have a great night, guys.
All right. Here we go.
Thankfully, there's 2 more guys at the Sport Rocky Mount Telegram that we can talk to in future weeks. Thanks, Jesse.
Jesse, have a good one,
We'll talk to you, man.
All right.
All right.
No love for the soccer tonight.
None.
But, folks, this week, Ed made a new friend.
I did. Andrew Evans, welcome to the family. Welcome to Spurs.
And he's who? Just so the people at home know what you're trying to do. Exactly.
One of the new Rocky Mount Telegram sports writers.
Exactly. He likes the foot. So,
we'll talk more with you, I'm sure.
He's not a ginger, is he? Already have upgraded over Nick Petrovich.
Oh, sorry, Nick.
Boom.
Sorry.
We'll be talking to him in a couple of weeks. We'll let him talk a little soccer.
All right.
Footy with us. Okay, folks, it is now the time to unveil the results of the Week 1 Crystal Clear Pepsi 6-pack. Folks, when we had to go get a sponsor for this, I said, Ed, I want a drink that is timeless, that is classic, that is just refreshing, and something that everyone is immediately going to remember. Man, I miss Crystal Clear Pepsi.
It's like Zima.
Oh, man, it's like Zima because they look the same. That's about it. But we did this year, folks. Once again, the Big Four are back again, the Fab Four. Tony Dowdy, of course, the most fabulous of the four by all means. Our buddy Deuce Clint Williams, our cameraman on Friday nights. Ed Green, myself. Folks, this year I decided to spot the lead.
Yeah, you did.
Flag
on that.
Okay. All right, so
let's go to the picks.
We'll
talk about it. Yeah, we'll talk about them. We'll throw them up full screen here in just a second. But we're going to start with you in that luscious pose of yours. A little updated graphics this year, as you can see. In the gray ones are the ones you missed. The white ones are the ones you were able to get correct. You missed Central over Tarboro, which again we can't chastise you enough over. You did get Southwest. You did not get Southwest Edgecombe over Southern Ash, and you did not get Hunt over South Central. You did get Beddingfield, Northern, and Rocky Mount though. If we move on a little bit, you will see our current leader in the clubhouse, and that is one Tony Dowdy. You said he was fabulous. Look at that smile. Oh, that's great. He got everyone right.
What can I say?
That's a pick six. He got every one of them right. So there's nothing more to say about that one. So move on to me. I had a good week, 5-1. The only one I missed was Hunt over South Central, but I believed in Jeff Craddock. I'm sorry you didn't. And I got Southern Nash too. So that was 5-1. We'll go to our final one. The man who is not in last place to start the year. That man, Clint Williams. Just look at him. 4-2. His only misses. He also did not believe in the Vikings. He missed on Nash Central. He missed on South Edgecombe, but got South Central. Got Beddingfield Northern.
Golden Fur.
Rocky Mountain. Those look rather golden. So if we head on to the Week 1 standings in full here, right at the very end here, you see Tony Dowdy, and it's very small on your screen, but that little logo under his name is the Take It to the House Award. That's if you lead. It's really small. We'll throw it up on the web.
Really?
It's very suboptimal. If you win a week outright, you get one of these awards, and that is the tiebreaker at the end of the year, is how many you get it right. So as you see right now, Tony Dowdy leading the way. I'm in second, Clint in third, Wes in fourth. So that's your Crystal Clear Pepsi Pick 6 standings, 6-pack, 6.
Sure.
6.
There's going to be 6 games, and if I can find a Crystal Clear Pepsi, which would be a 20-year-old Crystal Clear Pepsi, folks, if we can raise enough money basically to pay my hospital bill, I will drink it on the air.
Oh, God. That's ALS challenge if I ever saw one.
That's a promise.
All right.
Forget your ice bucket. I'm going to drink a disgusting 20-year-old Pepsi.
Speaking of great sponsors, unfortunately, we do not yet have a Play of the Week sponsor. We are working on one. And so instead we were able to slapdash a little bit of an intro.
So really, if you're a local business owner out there, or even if you just, inherited some money from a dead aunt and you just want it to be yours, if your name is Randy Smith and you want it to be the Randy Smith Play of the Week, we'll take your money gladly to put on a sponsorship.
Yeah, sure. Yep. So anyway, we are going to head out now back to Tarboro to check out our as yet to be named Play of the Week. Hit it, Desmond and Lee.
Ghana.
Toss sweep left side to Sean Farmer. He's got good blocking. Not good enough though. And he's
oh my gosh!
Never put up a sign. And where's the sign? Put 6 on the board, Viking fans. That is a Tarboro touchdown. Deshaun Farmer said, I don't need the blocking. I'll take care of this myself. Everyone thought he was down. Shades of Michael Dyer in the Auburn-Oregon national title game. He stayed on his feet and scores the touchdown.
Crack open a Pappy Van Winkle for me. What an amazing job there by Farmer to just cut back inside, stay on his feet. We have seen some amazing footwork from Farmer tonight, now on both touchdowns. Very, very impressive.
That was a smooth pick somebody made this weekend, Green.
It was? It was?
I'm going to give that one to you, my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So smooth.
If you want to hear more about those picks, you can head on over to facebook.com/theallnewsportsshow, where we will be making our picks to click every week.
Right. Picks to click, that's right. Ed, let's tell the people what's going on next week to start off the high school football game of the week will be heading to Leggett. And, folks, it will be a Thursday night game.
Thursday
Remember,
night football.
folks, you're going to need to check your game schedules. Double check them because there are going to be a lot of Thursday night games with next week being the holiday. Now, because the holiday, that means you should be at home with a nice toasty buzz going so you can watch the all-new sports show on Sunday night.
That's the best way to watch our show.
Exactly. You don't need to be out driving. Please wait till you're done because we will sober you up quickly.
We do not condone drinking and driving. No.
Sure. If you need a ride, call.
Some moms got mad. All right.
But we are heading to Leggett.
Yes.
Southwest Edgecombe and North Edgecombe will be our game of the week.
I think this is our first trip to Leggett in 3 years.
Oh, man.
But it's a big game now. We talked about it. Southwest Edgecombe
cool.
kind of needs to win this game.
They do kind of need to win it.
They need to see Antoine Pittman. He's
and
really good.
That's right. And Ed, real quick, what I'm going to let you do, I'm going to let you give everyone the very first Todd Gurley update of the week. And before we're done, folks, we're going to run down next week's games coming up for our area teams.
Wes, I know how much you love Todd.
Oh, I love Todd.
I got something special cooked up for you here. So
I love Todd.
I think in just a few seconds we're going to have it
Todd.
up here in this, and right behind. Oh, look at that!
Yes!
Look at that!
Oh, the helmetless Gurley.
Oh, that's so
That's
great.
the Gurley I love.
Oh, it's just so nice, just wonderful. As we come back here,
It's just golden
it's so
fur.
nice. Look at that. So right now, no game this week, but this Saturday night at 5:30, they will be hosting the Clemson Tigers in what is sure to be an amazing game. Big game for both, right out of the blocks. And Todd Gurley, as you said, I believe on the All New Sports of the podcast this week,
I'll do what I can.
if they are in the playoffs, if they make the college football playoffs, Todd Gurley will be going to New York, and I agree with you.
New York City.
Oh, it's going to be great. But they have this game coming up, then they have a week off, then they go to South Carolina. Already a big game to start the year. That'll be September 13th at 3:30 p.m. And then a couple more big games still in the schedule. They're at Arkansas October 18th, November 1st against Florida, then at Kentucky, and then November 15th,
Sleep
Auburn.
on Kentucky.
That's true.
Basically, there's no one on the SEC you can totally sleep on.
Not totally.
Because even Kentucky, they've got a Stoops.
It's not the slightly overrated one. It's the vastly overrated one.
Well, it's the up and coming.
Oh, there's another one?
The overrated up and coming
Oh, okay.
Stoops. There's many.
The one who's always up and coming?
Sure, he's been up and coming a couple times at least. Explosion. All right, Ed. So Todd Gurley, no pressure. Just win the Heisman and the national title.
It's okay.
You'll be a Georgia legend up there.
Let us come to New York.
Yeah, let's come to New York and then come right in here to the palatial All New Sports Show studios here in the crap part of the rock. Anyway, all right, taking a look at what's coming up this week on in high school football. Tarboro hosting Washington. That's going to be a good one. Right now, that one's scheduled for the 29th. So on our schedule, it says Friday. Once again, folks, we do not guarantee days.
Yeah.
We do not guarantee days.
Check with your local listing.
We're saying who's playing who. Of course, North Edgecombe hosting Southwest Edgecombe. As we said, that is our big game of the week. Beddingfield hosting Southern Nash. Holy crap, that's going to be fun.
Yeah. That's going to be some points.
Beddingfield they've got a bone to pick from last year because they were in that ball game and could have conceivably won that ball game last year at Southern Nash. I'm spilling maybe an upset coming from the 2A. Southwest Edgecombe, of course, at North Edgecombe. And, folks, to take a look at your Big East teams, and if you will pull up Rocky Mount Prep, who I conveniently forgot as always. Fike home against Roanoke Rapids. It looks like Hunt going to be heading to Hertford County, so a nice long trip to Hertford County. Nash Central hosting Kinston, their home opener for the season. Northern Nash getting a crack at Northeastern. Northeastern ran them off the field last year, but this year they're having to come. Those Eagles having to come to Northern. That could be a tough one. As we said, Southern at Beddingfield and Rocky Mount hits the road. They head to J.F. Webb in Oxford, so that'll be an interesting ball game. Rocky Mount then will have one more home game, and then they go on the road for a long time.
The one that actually spans the bye week.
Yeah, very much so. So that's going to definitely be one to keep your eye on for the Griffs.
All right.
Bringing up, you've got Rocky Mount Academy coming up.
I do. First, though, Rocky Mount Prep will be taking on Granville Central this week.
Okay. That game, home game.
So, yes, and hopefully they will be able to build on their big 32-14 win over Kip Pride. this past week. Kip Pride, of course, they'll be going there in just a couple weeks, so hopefully they'll be
Kippers.
Yep. And this week, this Thursday night, the only team from my area to win a state title last year, Rocky Mount Academy, will get their title defense underway against Halifax Academy. B.W. Holt and the boys looking to do something.
This year they are playing as the hunted. They are no longer the hunter. You are the hunted. You've won it. You've won big. Everybody going to be gunning for Rocky Mount Academy with their best shot. I think it's a really good team, and we look forward to talking about what they do this season.
Can't wait.
Man, Ed, that was a action-packed show, my friend.
Explosion.
We did so much cool stuff.
We
I
really
just
did.
don't understand
We
how
really
we
did.
can do more.
We
And
can't.
therefore,
We're
we're
out.
not
We're
going to do
stuck,
it.
so.
We're done. Big thanks to Lee Pritchett, who is flipping some controls back there.
Yep. Producer Dez,
McManus,
good job.
McManus,
Earned your pay.
really nice watching Manziel get sacked the other night, wasn't it, big guy?
Don't make fun of him.
Oh, wait, just real quick, did you hear about the guy who on Twitter promised to
Yes.
buy drinks
Yes.
if Michael Sam
And did this.
sacked
him and did
sacked
it.
Johnny Manziel and did this? And that's exactly what happened.
So, find
Also-
that man and get
also,
drinks.
folks, also, the moment that almost made ESPN explode from the inside out, Michael Sam, Johnny Manziel.
Together at last.
Wow. I personally did not care at all.
Me neither.
Still don't care.
Yeah.
But ESPN was really excited
John
about
Skipper had exploded.
it. 2:30 tomorrow afternoon, NBC Sports.
Yeah.
Liverpool, Manchester City. That is your Barclays Premier League match of the week. So check it out, folks. I will be listening to it on the radio.
I will be watching it on my phone.
Talk sport. Here I come, baby.
Thanks,
Other
Time
than
Warner.
that, folks, if you want to come out Thursday night and see us, we will be in
Yes.
Leggett, Southwest Edgecombe, North Edgecombe.
It's going to be fun.
I'm just keeping this going because
Yeah, why?
apparently,
We're done.
apparently
We're
I get
done.
paid by the minute.
Just stop rambling.
Up until 9 o'clock. Oh, it's 9:18.
Yeah.
Okay, show's over. Ed Green, Wes Bradshaw. We'll see you folks next week. The All New Sports Show brought to you each and every week by Roger G. Taylor & Associates.
Check out the podcast.
We'll see you next
On
week. We love you,
Stitcher.
America.
Go on Stitcher.
Good night.
Go to Stitcher. They
Ooh.
love us. They talk to us and stuff.
War Pig.
Dominate.
Explosion.
Kung Fu Fight in America. Two features this week, Bishop's Corner and our Todd Gurley update. All that, 60 seconds of soccer, and much more await on this edition of the All New Sports Show. Let's go. So Wes, that's how you cut a promo. Nope.